Nerd Rage Renegades.
Darnell Jackson, y'all already know. Yo, Prolapse Records, blow it out your ass, baby, baby.
This is for a Beats production.
A whoopee. My daddy made it.
Yeah, getting fat like a motherfucker should. Toilet blowing up. Yeah, what's good? Pizza sauce on my face, on my boss. Decorate that shit with toppings, looking like Bob Ross. Catch me with that quick shit, mobbing through the drive-thru. Got no money, but my homies always say I got you. Chili fries and hoagies and burgers with a chocolate shake. Bitches twerking while they cooking, that's a shake and bake. I go ham, no turkey, but I like a big pickle. Pause. When I walk, I jiggle. When I talk, I wiggle. Little by little, I'm eating all of my haters for lunch. My crispy bacon got that crunch. A tie's kneecapped in, tricks are for kids. No time for tricks when I'm face deep in these ribs. Eggplant emoji, cause they want my stick. Fuck that. Give me that piece, cause I'm thick. I'm thick. Bitch, I've been.
Yeah! That's that new track by Darnell Jackson, the famous rapper.
The famous rapper.
Famous rapper. He on SoundCloud. Chief, you follow Darnell Jackson on SoundCloud?
Of course. Who doesn't?
Of course. Is that Darnell Jackson? He thick.
For anybody who doesn't know, that's Djibouti from the I don't know even what to say it's from, because you can go on YouTube and watch this usually the next day, but Twitch is the main.
Twitch is the main thing. Yeah, Twitch is the main thing.
On Twitch, Twitch stream they do GTA, and Darnell Jackson is Djibouti's character, and he's an aspiring rapper, and that's his hit single. I'm thick.
I'm thick. Y'all.
Is that the name of the? Is it just I'm thick? Is that the name of the song?
That's it. It's I'm thick. That track's straight fire.
He's working on some more.
That's just how it goes.
I am catching up on that, but I think I've watched enough of it. We can talk about it a little bit. For those of you out there,
shit. Hold on, my battery dead up on my vapor. Gotta plug that shit in. There we go.
It died.
I got it. Oh fuck, I got it. Oh shit, 2018 starting out with a bang, motherfucker. Oh shit, we back. Holy shit, we're back. We back, motherfucker. Yo, we thick. We back, motherfuckers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nerd Rage Renegades up in your earlobes, gonna be baby.
It's freestyle.
Freestyle rapping, y'all. I got my Master System. I got my big pickle.
Yeah, Darnell's become. I didn't like Darnell because when they first started doing,
he died every 5 minutes.
Yeah, within the first 5 minutes of every stream with Darnell, he'd get killed because he'd piss somebody off and they'd just kill him.
One guy set him on fire, and
oh yeah, he's been killed many times, and he was, and they said he was perma-dead at one time. They weren't even gonna try because they didn't have a story for him. But now. I don't know how they got together and did that. I didn't hear any of the backstory. I haven't watched any of Classy streams because for some reason I can't. Classy doesn't upload to Xbox format or something. I don't know. I can't watch it. The only way I can watch Classy is either on this computer, which sucks to watch, or on my phone.
Right.
So I don't get to see a lot of Classy stuff.
So they had brought Darnell back like a few months ago, and they did like 1 or 2 streams with Darnell, and he was just like freestyling on the streets. But then I guess they came up with the idea. It's Classy, it's Djibouti, it's Penahurst, and it's oh god, who's the third one? It's S something. Oh fuck, I can't remember.
Who's Benny? I don't know. I don't know Benny from anything else.
Benny's the one I'm trying to remember because Classy's Bob, Will is Penahurst. Shit, now it's gonna fucking drive me nuts.
Well, the premise, the characters basically are Darnell's the aspiring rapper he's an overweight black guy, and he thinks he's real hood, but he grew up in the suburbs and he's not. but he pretends to be real gangster. And then you got Bob, who is a real pretentious actor with borderline multiple personality disorder, which is classy. And he's brilliant through the whole thing because he is in and out of characters like the drop of a hat. And the guy, and Will is the overweight white guy that they were all on a kid show when they were young, and they've all grown up to be kind of losers at life. They're kind of washed out, and they've got nothing going on. So they're trying, with the help of their drug dealer Benny, who apparently is a gun-running, drug-running Korean businessman.
You alcohol. Oh, you alcohol.
Yeah, that guy's so funny.
Alcohol.
I love how he's so deadpan. You say lines or you lose kneecap. He's got a shotgun. But so the four of them are basically cruising around, and they have a plan to film a pilot using people they kidnapped off the street for a sitcom, and then once they get the sitcom on the air, money will insulate them from lawsuits and they'll be safe. So that's basically the whole thing. And so the first one was 5 hours, the second one is 4 hours, and the third one I think is over 3. It might be even 4 hours.
Yeah.
So far the continuing saga of That's Just How It Goes is brilliant. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Because they all get together, and then you have the other great RPers of Family RP up in there. You got Disby Erics is there, all these great ones. It's so if you haven't seen it, go check it out on YouTube. This is consumed over the
or
holidays.
Twitch. Go subscribe.
Or Twitch, subscribe.
Give Djibouti Classy a subscription. It's not that much. It's like $15 for 3 months or something. You can even go even lower than that. You
I
can
do
get
like
month
5
to
a
month.
month. Yeah, I do like 5 a month. I give it to Djibouti. You get those cool emotes. You can drop some sugar in that chat.
Yeah, you can converse, give them ideas. They look at the chat while they're doing it. They talk to people in chat while they're doing it live.
You may hear
it's really interactive and it's fun and it's better than TV. I'm telling you, it's better than what's on TV.
And if you watch any of their streams around the 9th or so of each month, you'll hear them say, "Hey, Nerd Rage Renegades with a resub. What's going on, brother?" Because that's when I resub every month.
And about every 3 months, you hear my individual name, Space Chief. Because we were subscribers.
Man. God damn, we're back. We took a week off.
Fine.
We took a week off.
I was. That's my fault, everybody. I was sick and I had a sick dog. This is how my 2018 started. First of all, literally the first day of it, my dog, while I'm gone, my dog Otto, for all those who follow me on Twitter, my dog Otto ate a blanket.
A polar fleece blanket. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I just wanted to be inside his head when he looked at it and said, "Damn, that looks good. I'm going to eat that motherfucker."
I don't know. He's been like that since he's a puppy. We got him a really nice dog bed when we first got him. He was a baby. And we got him a really nice dog bed, and we put some really nice polar fleece blankets on it for him to lay on because it's soft. And he started chewing them up, so we got rid of him. Didn't get him a polar fleece blanket ever again. Never had him around him because we were afraid this very thing was going to happen. So for Christmas this year, my father-in-law got us these 2 blankets that are they were polar fleece, but they were pretty nice, big, like comfy polar fleece, like bedspread things.
Right.
So I put him on the bed, thinking, he's a year and a half old now. He hasn't had a polar fleece blanket in a fucking year, man. He hasn't even seen one. And so I put these on the bed thinking he won't fuck with them because he doesn't even remember. He's never messed with anything on my bed before. He's never messed with, it's just weird random shit he messes with. I don't know why. But so I leave the house for like 2 hours. I come back and he's eaten the entire center out of one of the blankets. Like the whole, it was crumpled up on the floor, and I thought he just knocked it off, so I didn't pay much attention to it. I went back later to spread it back out, thinking, that there wasn't anything wrong with it, and the whole middle was gone. Out of
donut.
Yeah, like a big donut. And I was like, oh my god. So then for 2 days after that, he was vomiting. He wasn't going outside. He wasn't doing anything. He was just vomiting, and he just looked miserable and sick. And I was.
Chief's exact words to me were, Have you ever seen a full-grown German Shepherd projectile vomit across the room? I have now seen this, and I never want to see it again.
Yeah, it's horrible. But he didn't show any signs of physical pain. And my sister-in-law, who has a standard poodle, who has every fucking problem in the world, that's eaten every kind of weird fucking thing in the world, said, don't rush him off to the vet if he's not showing any signs of pain. He'll probably pass it and it'll be fine, and unless he starts really having any kind of pain or anything. And he wasn't like just vomiting constantly. It was like every once in a while he'd feel sick and he would throw up. So I was just kind of like I told you, I was just watching him to see if he showed any sign of pain. I was going to run him to the emergency vet. So I was just watching him, and eventually after like a day and a half or 2 days, he eventually passed the blanket. It was horrible, but I was really relieved that he finally got it out, and then he was fine. I mean, he's had no problems since. But that day or that evening, I got the worst cold I've ever fucking had. and I've still got it. I'm suffering through.
Now let me say, when I get sick, it's maybe like a day or two, and then I'm back. I'm fighting Joe Frazier. I'm back in the ring. Chief gets sick, it's like 4 months. And I'm not being mean, dude. I'm not being mean.
No, it's a month, at least a month-long thing.
I
don't know why that is. I just have a horrible immune system.
It's the Rockford air.
Could be.
I don't know.
Crime
and pollution.
There's not much industry going on here, man. Not much.
Sure, there is the crime industry.
Oh yeah, well that the meth and maybe the meth is in the air.
Don't swallow it.
I need oxygen.
Put it under your tongue, but don't swallow the cocaine.
But I every time, and I try to stay away from people that are sick, like, and people think I'm a dick because I'm like, no,
get the fuck away.
Yeah, don't touch on me. I don't like people touching me.
You're gonna have to start going outside and like wearing like a mask, like most people in Japan.
Yeah, I might have to, like some kind of weak immune system.
Because then you go down, and then Jess goes down.
Well, yeah, she's the one that gave it to me. She brought it home from work. Gave it to me, and then I feel a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit better, but today. But it's been like 4 days. I don't know how long has it been since because we called the show for it and everything. So it's been a while, and I still got it. I still haven't shaken it. I still feel kind of shitty, but I'm doing better.
There's a little something extra in that midnight New Year's kiss.
No, something like the fucking Black Plague.
The consumption, dude.
Well, it's funny because she'll get it and it doesn't affect her as bad. Like she'll be over it in 2-3 days, right. And like I've got it a week and a half later, and I'm still dying.
That's because you're doing gang shit.
That's right. But no,
it's
all. I've always kind of been like that. I try to avoid. That's one. I'm kind of like standoffish with people when they like people I don't know, especially if they get near me or try to touch me or touch something. I'm kind of a germaphobe that way, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's because I have a life experience of every time anybody's even slightly sick around me, I've got it, and I've got it for a fucking month, and I'm just down. And
fight it. I was gonna fight that cold. I was like, I wouldn't find cold, but I found a man with a cold. Come here, cold. I'll fight you. Fight with the tongue.
Fight around the world.
Fighting around the world. God damn, it's world.
But no, if you ever meet me and I'm not touchy feely, which I wouldn't be anyway because that's weird. But I mean if I seem that way, it's not you. It's because I'm really touchy about fucking getting sick.
Yeah, that's why when we go to C2E2, separate beds.
Oh yeah, well.
Maybe.
Unless I get scared at night. Then
don't worry. Well, we'll cuddle.
Well, see, you're not one of those people. You're not like somebody I would freak.
Hell no, I got that military immune system. Comes in, I beat the shit out of it, and it goes back home. Then
so it's like people that I know really well, because I know that you wouldn't like if you were sick, you would tell me. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm sick.
Hey, Chief, I came to your house, but I got leprosy. How's it going?
It's coughing on me.
God, 2018.
Oh, but we are for 2018. Speaking of 2018 upcoming events, we are reserved for 3 days, 1.5 miles away from McCormick Center for C2E2.
And we're gonna take a bus to this. We're not gonna walk 1.5 miles, are we?
Well, I thought it was a nice day. We might, because I mean, so Chicago's not that far. But I mean, but the cabs are, it'd be like a $10 cab ride. We could take a cab.
Unless it's Dopinder. We could ride with Dopinder.
We could. We were thinking, because the parking was like ridiculous, man. It was like 60 or 90, like $60 a day or something. I don't know what it was. It was ridiculous for parking.
Walk over that motherfucker.
Well, we found another lot that's like just around the corner. It's only $25, so we could park. We could still park. We could take the car and keep it there in case we needed it. But
or you never know. We could the hotel might have a shuttle service that'll shuttle us over there.
That's possible. And I mean, even if we had to walk over, we'll probably be walking over with tons of people going to the con anyway. So
I mean, here's the main thing is Chief and I are going to be alone by ourselves for 3 days in frickin' Chicago.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have our own room, and then my wife and one of her friends is gonna come in because they want to come up and check out C2 because her friend is like big into like Game of Thrones and shit like that, I guess. And I don't know if she likes comic books or anything, but they're big into like fantasy and games and shit. So her and her friend were gonna come up, and they're on Saturday, and they're gonna have their own room and do their own thing. But it's just gonna be me and you. I mean, they're gonna be there, but we don't have to.
And I'm gonna bring because I can.
I mean, we can say hi.
Hi. It's like in passing, just like, what's up?
Probably like get dinner at some point and hang out. Like we're gonna be right down. There's gonna be lots of cool shit to do.
Oh, God,
I want to.
And I'm gonna be bringing the NES Mini Classic with me.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna be hooking that because I'm sure we can hook up HDMI into one of those.
That's what we got to make sure we pace ourselves this year, so we got time to do shit.
Yeah. Every time we
because
go
the last we always we rush into it and we go hog wild the first day and then we're just beat for fucking 2 days.
Oh yeah. Well, then it's kind of like, what do we do for like the next 2 days?
Yeah, we gotta just pace it out and then so that so that we're not just exhausted and well, for one thing, the drive is a killer. That's when we were driving back and forth every day. That sucked. We're gonna be right there, so we're not gonna have that.
Shoot, it could be one of those things where, like, you know what, let's go back to the hotel room for like a couple hours and then head back to the con. We could do that.
Yeah, that's kind of that's why I wanted to do it that way.
It's gonna be some good shit. It's gonna be good.
Oh, this is gonna be the funnest one yet. I guarantee it, because we're gonna be right there on the scene, and there's comic stores in Chicago we can go to. There's all kinds. We can go get a real good Italian. We'll get a good beef sandwich. We're not gonna get some bullshit franchise beef sandwich. We're gonna get a good one.
We can get the real one, with
a real Chicago Italian beef sandwich.
The jardiniere and all that shit.
Everything.
Even though I probably won't eat the jardiniere. But hey,
the juice is good.
The juice is good. Gotta love the juice. The juice is on the loose. But speaking of other things, okay, so I gotta talk about this for a few seconds or a few minutes because this has been like my obsession for like the last couple days ever since I got it. So if you watch the Nostalgia Critic, as I do, he's been using this app called the Stardust app. What this is, it's kind of like Instagram, but it's more movie and TV reactions. So it's like 25, 28-second long videos of first reactions to movies.
That's going to be hard. I got to get used to that because I got to do them too. You've done a few, but I got to do some myself.
I've got 6 up there. So I got it because the Nostalgia Critic's been doing this thing where he's like, hey, I'm going to be reviewing this movie next week. I'd like to see your reactions. He's on there posting his reactions, and then he takes some and he puts them in the videos. But I've been looking at this thing for a while. I was like, I really kind of want to do this. I think this would be great for
it. It kind of looks like something that might take off, like an Instagram kind of thing.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of a big.
So I've been on there. I've got. If you're not on Stardust app, you should get the Stardust app because right now I'm posting things on Twitter so people can get some exposure to it. They can see it. But after a while, I'm not going to be putting every single reaction on Twitter because I want you guys to come to the app, follow us on the app, and check it out. So I've got 3 trailer reviews up right now. I've got Slender Man, I've got Maze Runner: The Death Cure, and I've got The Strangers Pray at Night. And then I've got some movie reviews up there. I've got Home, I've got Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Men Tell No Tales, I've got Lara Croft: Tomb Raider, and I've got, I'm pulling it up right now so I can tell you the last one I've got, actually no, that's what I got. So I've got those. So it's Home, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and for movie reviews, and Lara Croft: Tomb Raider, and then Slender Man, Maze Runner: The Death Cure, and The Strangers Pray at Night. And Chief's gonna be getting on there, and this app is so freaking fantastic. I mean, like every movie you could think of, except for in the Shadow of Bigfoot. I looked that one up today, and sadly, the Shadow of Bigfoot wasn't on there.
That's like barely got even a mention on like IMDb.
Now the Legend of Bigfoot is on there, and so is the Time Machine I found at a yard sale is on there.
I'm pretty sure Shadow of Bigfoot's something Ivan made himself.
Yeah. But if you want to get the Stardust app and you want to follow us on there, it's NRDRG Renegades. It's the same as the Twitter handle. Go on the Stardust app. You can see the reactions. I'm going to be posting these quite frequently in the vault, in my car, wherever I see anything. You know, those trailers are always come up on Facebook. You're scrolling through Facebook or something, and then there's the trailer and shit, and you watch it and you're like, God, that fucking sucks, or oh my God, that's gonna be cool. So now I can go right on the Stardust app and put it on there. We've got some. Can
I review other drivers on the road? Just point my camera. This fucking guy sucks.
Look at this fucking guy. Hey, dog in the other car. Fuck you. You know. But no, I really am enjoying it. I plan on putting a lot of stuff up there. Chief's going to be getting on there. He's going to be putting his stuff because Chief watches. I'm more of the movie guy. He's a lot more. He does a lot of the. Well, he's a movie guy too, but you do a lot more like the Oak Island, the Mountain Monster.
Oh, I watch a lot of reality, Supernatural, mostly like a paranormal, kind of fake reality, paranormal kind of shit. I watch a lot of that crap because I love it, even though it's bullshit.
And you can go on there and you can do it by episode. I mean, we can even do by episode of Triple Dipple D, Diners, Driving, and
I would do that. I cannot hear the real guy Fieri without hearing Djibouti chicken bucket of nacho cheese.
So, but check it out, Stardust app, the login.
Now, here's my question about it. Does it have a timer on screen where you can see how long you've got as you're going, when you're recording?
Yeah. So there's when you're recording, it's got that red circle. It's got a circle and it just goes red like that. So you'll be able to know. Yeah. But it's really interesting. It's really, really cool. Our Lara Croft Tomb Raider, my reaction to that has been getting a lot of views. So check it out, Stardust app. That's a new thing for us. I mean,
yeah, I gotta get on that. Starting this week, you'll start seeing some stuff.
I mean, people do Instagram, but I'm not really a picture taker. I don't like to take the pictures too much. So
surprisingly, I take a lot of fucking pictures. And I've got an Instagram, and I never post any of that shit. I sent a lot of it to you to put on the Nerd Rage one.
And I'm so bad because my mind. I feel good though. So I feel so fucking good. So 2017, I will put this out there. I told Chief I was dealing with a lot of personal demons. There's things that nobody knew about. And then I had my Christmas vacation, and I just kind of went through this whole cleansing detox of mental stuff. I mean, I went in there with fucking incantations, spells. I was reading from the Necronomicon, the whole motherfucker. And I feel so. I mean, you can tell just from my voice here tonight on this show as we record it. I am fucking juiced. I am fucking. I'm pumped because I am back in the saddle. I'm back. I read fucking 300 comics while I was on Christmas break. I finished 2 novels so far since the new year. I'm on my 3rd novel reading. I read fucking a ton of books. I've just been all over the place. The mind, the ideas have just been going nuts for the show and everything. So there's going to be just so much going on in 2018 for everybody involved, and I am so happy to be doing this. And then Chief's going to be starring in the TV show Shirtless Bear Fighter.
For those who haven't seen that, John Kroll, our good friend and Emmy award-winning producer, John Kroll. Action producer John Kroll. He's reading Shirtless Bear Fighter, and he tweeted out that he is trying to buy the rights so that he can make it with me starring in it. So I'm holding you to that, Kroll. I am the Shirtless Bear Fighter. I'm gonna have to go to Shirtless Bear Fighter training though, because my 6-pack is more like a case right now. So we'll have to fix it. It's the winter week.
The winter variety.
It wouldn't take me that long. I can do it.
Oh no, man. I'll be there behind you with my beanie cap on, telling you, catch the chicken, Chief. Come on, catch the chicken.
That's right. I'll be training hard.
Training hard, and I'm eating like a burger. Come on.
Dragging spin uphill on a bike with a rope around my neck.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'll get a rickshaw. I'll just take you around in a rickshaw everywhere we go.
Come on, you gotta fight Mike Tyson in the finals. Did you? Oh, that's the other thing. That's a new. That's gonna be a reaction I'm gonna be putting up. I gotta watch the trailer. So apparently there's a new kickboxer movie coming out, kickboxer retaliation.
Yeah.
It's got Jean-Claude Van Damme in it, but it's also got Mike Tyson.
It's got a real action-y movie poster.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that trailer and post a reaction to that. Stardust app, everybody. But it's been just a great. Did you see the news that they're bringing Animaniacs back?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what I think. I don't know. It kind of depends.
Well,
Because a lot of people said it's just gonna be neutered from what it used to be.
yeah, none of the original creative team are involved, and you kind of wonder, you can't do Animaniacs. You got to have some, like, apparently Steven Spielberg and Amblin are going to come back to produce it. But
There was some borderline, risque shit on the old one, and I'm wondering
Number
if
one sister,
that's gonna be cut.
Number one sister, Dust for Prince. I found prints. No, fingerprints. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Like shit like that. Well, I mean, if you go back and watch old cards, there's a lot of stuff. Like the old Cow and Chicken when they had the female biker gang show up called the Carpet Munchers.
Oh, man, I watched one of my favorites. So Hulu, I love the beginning of the year because Netflix and Hulu get so many new like shows and TV. And Hulu got all 3 seasons of Tiny Toon Adventures. And I got to watch my favorite episode of Tiny Toon Adventures tonight. It was Baby Plucky learning how to use the potty. Where he shoves everything in the toilet and the toilet backs up. And he's like, Ducky, go down to hole. My diaper go down to hole. And then the toilet backs up. He's like, Ducky came back. My diaper came back. Oh, man, I was dying. But that, and then there's another show on Netflix. It just came out. I don't know if you've seen it. The Toys That Made Us. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, so right now it's 4 episodes. And each episode is 45 minutes long, and it deals with a different nostalgic toy, the history of that toy. So they've got Barbie, the Star Wars toys from the original Star Wars toys,
Oh yeah.
He-Man, and G.I. Joe. And it's a 45-minute like mini doc of these toys and how they came to be and what, and how they were made and the reaction to the toys. Oh man, it is amazing.
I would think that there wouldn't be much I wouldn't know except for about the Barbie one would be all new to me. I wouldn't know anything about Barbie stuff.
G.I. Joe was really good because they talked about it. You had the G.I. Joe toys in like the 50s and 60s, with Kung Fu Action Grip and all that.
Yeah.
And then it kind of died down. Well, when they decided they wanted to bring it back, the head of Hasbro said no, which was also his way of saying no, but show me why I should say yes. So they went to Marvel and said, we cannot advertise this on TV, but we can, like, they couldn't advertise like the toy or something. Like there was some like laws or something about toys.
Yeah, with the whole 80s, there was something prior to that era that said you couldn't use a cartoon show to market a toy.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect.
It could only be like 30 seconds of animation, and then the rest had to be the toy.
Yeah, and it got lifted through the 80s, I think. So that's why you had, like, He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Brave Stars, Silverhawks, Thundercats. All those shows were advertising toy lines. Well, but they were exceptionally well done. Most of them were actually good shows.
This one was really cool because they said we couldn't advertise animation for a toy, but they never said we couldn't do it for a book. So they went to Marvel and said, if you create the G.I. Joe comic book, we will market it with the toys. So Marvel did that, and you come to find out that G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero, a lot of the stuff that they had to create for that cartoon and that line came from Marvel. Like they weren't going to create any villains. They were not going to create any bad guys because their thought process was you have the G.I. Joes and any other toy you have are like the bad guys. And Marvel was like, you have to have bad guys. And Marvel came up with the idea for Cobra and all this other stuff, and they actually interview Larry Hama it's so well done. It is really,
well, it's like
really good.
Almost every cartoon back then was like that, and then that was the marketing strategy. Yeah. Here's the team of good guys. Here's the team of bad guys. They're gonna fight it out. We can introduce new characters with new toys, and really, what's crazy? That was exactly I was the exact marketing age for that. For that line of all those lines.
Oh yeah.
I was born in 75, and so by when like 82 whatever when that stuff started happening, I was like 7-8 years old when a lot of the stuff was coming out. It was like the exact demographic they were trying to hit with most of these toys. So I had almost all these toy lines growing up. I was definitely a huge Star Wars nut, like the early. Like, I had the early vintage Star Wars shit growing up. Like, there's I've put pictures on Twitter if you've ever seen it of Christmas in '79, and I've got a TIE fighter on my at Christmas in front of I've got a vintage TIE fighter, and there's a picture of my dad holding the X-wing in the old X-wing, and I had every bit of it. I had like the Death Star, Jabba the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt, his Rebo band, all that shit.
What's so good is you watch this now. I haven't watched the Barbie one, but the other ones.
I would probably watch that one first because that's the one I probably know the least about.
Well, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna end up watching it. But I saw He-Man. I was like, I gotta go right to He-Man. But I'm watching it and I'm like, I had that. I had that. I had that. I had that. I mean, everything from Castle Grayskull to the G.I. Joe figures. I mean, they even go into depth of the G.I. Joe USS Flag. I mean, the mecca of all toy playsets. The one
I knew this kid Matt Sargent lived down the road from me. He had it. He had it in his bedroom, all assembled. And over
7 feet long. That thing is taller than me.
Yeah, took up one whole wall of his bedroom. You go in his bedroom, it was just down one whole side of the wall, all assembled.
But it's such a great show. I'm loving this. I am fucking loving 2018 so far. I understand, dog getting sick and all that, but it's just been 2018.
Oh, he's better now. By the way, everybody, he's better now.
He's good.
He's all right.
That has been great. Comic books have been great. I mean, there's so much coming out that we've read over the last couple of weeks. I mean, Phoenix Resurrection.
That was good. But you know what?
Issue 2's out. I have to pick up issue 2
I got to get that too. You told me to start reading the X-Men books, and I after reading Phoenix Resurrection, I was thinking, man, I need to go sign up for all the X-Men books right now. What do you got? You got Blue, Gold, and Red, right? That's the three titles.
Right, well, Blue, Gold, Red is coming out, but it also there's Astonishing X-Men, which highly recommend Astonishing X-Men. That one is it's they're not really a team. It's just more they came together for a purpose. It's Old Man Logan, Psylocke, Rogue, Gambit, Phantom X, Bishop, and Angel/Archangel. And they go in because the Shadow King is trying something. They go into the dream space or whatever, and it's Shadow King and Professor X. He's in the the mind realm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You sent me a screen cap of that.
Yeah. And the last issue I read, there's a new one out, but the last issue, holy fuck! I mean, something happened at the end of it. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it's big. I think it's going to be huge. So you got that. There's Cable, which I'm liking Cable. It takes place, Cable, time traveling. It takes place in the past. He's getting together a team of mutants together, the newer mutants, and it's like
I just saw something about that book.
Yeah, Weapon X is really good. That's Old Man Logan, Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, Warpath, and Domino.
So is the Phoenix story going to run through all these? They're going to be like a shitload of tie-ins?
No. It's there's just the Phoenix Resurrection book.
Okay,
that's
and then there's.
Yeah, it's self-contained. It's kind of Marvel's doing that new thing now where it
set up a story in it, like the old X-Men and villains are like appearing, like the Phoenix appeared in the sun and everybody saw the Phoenix, and Jean Grey is working in a diner somewhere, some small town, and
it's all self-contained in that the Phoenix Resurrection is self-contained in the title Phoenix Resurrection. The other books are still doing their thing, so it's not like tie-in, which is what I'm liking with Marvel right now, is a lot of their events are not tie-ins. The stuff that they're doing, like Phoenix Resurrection, is self-contained.
Where will that continue? In the X-Men titles, they're just going to continue what's going on with that? Because they saw the young Wolverine walking across the Antarctic, and Wolverine's team ran into that guy, and then he disappeared.
Yeah, because right now they're like X-Men Gold. They're on an they're in an alternate dimension. X-Men Blue, they're time traveling. I
kind of like how they did this. I liked how they had all the X-Men, and they all had the different teams. How Kitty Pryde sent out, she sent out all the Healing Factor people on one team. She sent Logan and Sabretooth and X-23 and or all new Wolverine, if you want to call her that. I still call her X-23. But she sent those guys to the Arctic. She sent I can't remember who was it the original X-Men she sent, the original 5 that she sent to
There was a few of them. I don't think it was all of them at once.
Because Cyclops wasn't there, obviously.
I think he was somewhere, but I know it was Jean Grey and Beast and maybe Iceman. That story is really good right now in X-Men Blue. That it's finally their being in that timeline is now actually catching up and like fucking things up.
Well,
Really
they
good.
killed Iceman, right? They killing the character off, the young Iceman, or they?
No, not that I know of.
Or they just canceled the book? I thought
They're
they were killing it.
they're canceling the Iceman book, which is the older Iceman. The non-time displaced.
Yeah, I haven't read
They're
any of the
canceling.
X-books
I
in a
mean,
while.
they've canceled so many books. So Gwenpool's being canceled. Jean Grey's being canceled, which I really enjoy. Jean Grey.
I hadn't read it hardly any Marvel for actually. I mean, honestly, I've read Thor and a couple other ones. Thor and like
really
Despicable Deadpool I've been reading because the Deadpool kills Cable is going on in that right now, which is pretty good. And it has actually this last issue of Deadpool kills Cable was Strife has come back and as he's got Deadpool's family, well the Prestons, and I guess Deadpool's daughter is included in that. They've got some kind of disease or something, and Strife has like the cure for it. He can cure them, but he's holding Deadpool for ransom. Deadpool's got to kill 4 people for him, and or he's going to kill the Prestons. And so Deadpool, the first person he has to kill is Cable, and he said he wants his heart. So I guess he goes and he tells Cable this is what's going on. So Cable, they go to the far, far future and find the old dying Cable that's like just seconds from death, and Deadpool kills him and cuts out his heart. You know, with Cable's blessing because he's dying and it's not going to affect the timeline because it's just like a moment before his actual death.
Right.
And so he takes the heart and he takes it back to Strife. Well, he needs 3 other people, but there's a fight and Strife gets away. And that's kind of still going on. But at the end of it, Deadpool's just kind of, the Strife tells him he's still got to kill 3 other people and throws him out of this blimp in his own time. And he lands in this river and he's kind of floating down the river on his back. And he's kind of depressed and he's acting kind of weird. And he goes into this like storage place and there's a crate. And he opens up the crate and inside the crate is the shield body double of Preston that he's still got in a box. And he talks to it like he's still kind of nutty. And then he gets a call, and at the very end is like this reveal. I'll go ahead and spoil it because I guess it's been out a little while, a couple weeks. But he gets a call from Hydra Bob for the first time in a little while. And I guess Hydra Bob's been in he's been in hiding or something, and Deadpool got him out of some mess. But he says, I got some information that you want. And it turns out at the end of the book, he says, the remnants of Hydra have found the evil Steve Rogers. And it shows at the end they've got evil Steve Rogers like leading him into a prison area, like there's a photograph of it. So, and I guess the next issue in Despicable Deadpool is going to be Deadpool versus the evil Steve Rogers.
That ties into the end of Secret Empire because that's what happened at the end of Secret Empire. So that's really cool. Oh, we got another.
I thought that was a pretty important little piece of continuity to throw into a Deadpool book. It was kind of weird.
Yeah. We got another new like on the Lara Croft reaction. See, this Stardust app is blowing the fuck up. Man. No, Marvel, I've been loving it lately because, so I'm reading, of course I'm reading the X books. I'm reading, Moon Knight, which is really good. And they just dropped a bombshell in Moon Knight. I'm reading those. I'm reading Thor. Of course, I'm reading Thor. Which I really loved the 700 issue with Throg. That Throg was in there. They had a Throg story.
Yes.
So that was really
I read
cool.
that. Yeah, I did. I read that. That's where she's still fighting. What's it, Mangog or whatever his name is in that? Yeah. That's where it's called the death of Thor. I don't think she dies at the end of it though, does she?
No. That's the whole storyline right now that the Mangog is back. And I'm reading Doctor Strange. I'm reading Doctor Strange. Spirits of Vengeance. I'm really enjoying. That's
I'm going to be getting my first Marvel books back here like the next time I pick up my books because I just signed up for a bunch. I haven't been reading Marvel. I was mad at Marvel for a good long time.
Well, what I'm liking, like I said, Spirit of Vengeance, I'm liking because it's Johnny Blaze, Ghost Rider, it's Blade, Damon Hellstorm, and Satana. That's the team to stop this the gates of this demon war, which I like because I like that, like the Avengers fighting. I like the Avengers, okay, but I really love those stories like Doctor Strange and Thor, the mystic, the cosmic type of things. They're canceling, they're canceling a lot of books. Guardians of the Galaxy is being canceled to make way for this Infinity storyline that they're going to do.
Yeah, that's one of the. I signed up for a lot of the Marvel because that's coming up, and I told you what was my criteria. I said when they bring back Banner Hulk, I will be.
They're bringing him back.
I will be back with Marvel, and I just called my shop last week and ordered the Incredible Hulk, which is coming soon. The title is coming out soon enough.
Well, they've got the current Incredible Hulk title coming. That's still running with Amadeus Cho, but Banner is going to be coming back in. I want to say the Avengers. He's coming back because they've got covers of the Avengers.
Trying to see if this is one. Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, that's in the Avengers.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, look at the bottom. Look at the bottom of the poster.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Avengers. I signed up for that too. Avengers. I am signed up for the Hulk though. But I am signed up for that. I'm signed up for the Demon Mephisto Ghost Rider storyline that's coming up.
Oh yeah, got to get that definitely. See, they're coming back. They're coming back.
I got a call for the X-Men books because I'm getting into that.
Yeah, see, they're coming back. Like Spider-Man right now, they're doing this whole thing with Venom, where Flash Thompson wants the Venom symbiote back because originally it went with the Venom. Somehow he lost it. It attached to this guy who was also a veteran, but he turned out to be a criminal. And then Eddie Brock got it back. Well, now him and Flash wants it back. Well, Flash ends up becoming anti-Venom. And he can't touch the symbiote because it kills him. Well, Spider-Man this whole time, he doesn't care. I don't know why, but he doesn't care. He wants the symbiote destroyed. Like, Spider-Man is, completely adamant the symbiote needs to be destroyed. There is nothing good about the symbiote. Flash is trying to tell him the symbiote isn't evil. The person wearing it is evil, and it manifests the emotions of the symbiote. If you're like me and the symbiote's with you, it's a force of good. But Spider-Man will not listen.
Well, Spider-Man, it amplified his cockiness and his newfound strength.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't really the symbiote's fault.
No, and that's what I'm saying. So that's going on. A lot of books. Like I've been reading. There's one I've been reading. I've been reading Sheena from IDW. Queen of the Jungle, Sheena.
Mm-hmm.
Sheena. I always get it mixed up with Shayna. The Shauna the She-Devil.
Oh yeah.
But Sheena, I've been reading it because I'm like, I like Jungle Queen stories. Harken back to the old days.
More. I mean, back the old golden age days. There's still a lot of.
Marguerite Bennett's writing it. Well, she's co-writing it. But the problem is I'm reading it and I don't know who the editor is at IDW, but he or she, the one who's supposed to be editing these writings for the book, is missing stuff. Like there's a panel where they see this. They're hunting down this surveyor of this company, and they find him in a temple dead. And in the same panel, no less, it's not like two separate panels. In the same panel, Sheena goes, "Look, he's wearing the symbol of the company around his neck." And the guy is also in that same panel says, "Look, he's wearing the insignia around his neck." Now, if they had said it together, I would have thought the word bubble would be connected, they're both saying it. But they're two separate word bubbles. So I was sitting there going, why does she say it and then he says it right after her? And then there's another thing where he asks like a simple question. He just asks a question and she goes, "This is no time, this is no time to be making jokes." I'm like, he didn't make a joke. He asked a question.
It's been a long time since I've come across something baffling like that.
This one is a little baffling. It's weird because sometimes a lot of times the dialogue doesn't seem to sync up with what's going on. And it's fast paced, but it's weird in a way. I like the book. The artwork's really good. There's great covers by Scott Campbell, and there's cosplay covers. The problem is I think the editing needs to be picked up a little bit because the writing and Marguerite Bennett's a great writer. I have enjoyed many things from Marguerite Bennett. She did Batgirl stories. She's written for Red Sonja. But this one, I don't know if it. I would not say it's her. It might be the co-writer, and it's just something. Something's getting lost in translation with them both writing it. That's what I'm thinking.
That could be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what kind of. I don't read a whole lot of IDW books. I haven't in a while. Anyway, I used to read a lot of the Star Trek ones, but.
Oh, they're gonna be getting. April. They're getting a shit ton of my money because that's when Sonic comes out. That's when and Ian Flynn, the writer of Sonic on Archie, is back to write for IDW, the Sonic for IDW.
Well, then it's gonna be completely rebooted, or they're gonna continue what they.
I think it's gonna be rebooted. The only characters I have seen so far that they've had in there are that they've shown are Sonic, Amy Rose, Knuckles, and Tails. So I haven't seen anything if like the other Freedom Fighters are going to be making their appearance.
It's kind of IDW seems to get a lot of licenses from other places though, because like they print a lot of those like artist edition Marvel things and like. So I'm wondering maybe they could get like a license from Archie and use the old story stuff.
See, I'm kind of hoping because I don't think Arch like I don't know if Archie owns the rights to, like Princess Sally and all of those. I would hope not. That way they can use them. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I'm optimistic. Ian Flynn, he's written the book for so long. I'm really optimistic. I just hope it's not.
Well, if anybody could figure out a way to make it like actually make it fresh for new people and to continue on it, you might be able to do it. You never know.
He might be
able to work a way around it so that the old continuity stays intact while moving on with something else.
I think the only other IDW book I'm getting is DuckTales, which is it's based off the new DuckTales cartoon, and I actually really kind of enjoy it.
I do get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Universe from IDW does
and they did once they got the license of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they kept it pretty core. So that's what I'm hoping.
The comics were good, yeah.
It's just a question of characters. I think with Sonic is this. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sega owns quite a few of them, so we'll see what what happens with that. But I mean, just reading so much. I read quite a bit today. Because DC's been doing their stuff.
Yeah.
And we got DC books to cover. So
we got lots of DC books because we missed a week.
Yeah, so let's talk some DC books. Let's hit that spoiler alert. Crystal's back for 2018. Let's hit that spoiler alert, and let's talk some DC Comics.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. The Renegades are about to spoil this week's DC Comics.
Because we did miss. We did miss quite a bit over the last, because you were out a week. Things we talked well, I guess let's start with the origin of Bruce Wayne, the book Batman, the origin of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I thought that was great. By the way, I thought that for once a single issue Batman detective tale was what was needed.
Now I saw something. I don't know if it's like Comic Book Resources or comicbook.com. Those I don't get those sites sometimes because they're supposed to be like the comic book sites, and a lot of their shit. I don't know. Get better writers, because they were like they put up a thing. It was like, what do you think of Batman's new villain? I'm like, it's not really a villain.
No,
it's a kid. It's
a one-off story.
It's a one-off story of a disturbed kid, which almost kind of mirrored Hush in a way.
And it was kind of. It's played like I've said before. Tom King's Batman, it feels like the same character that Snyder wrote, but it's more of a different style of writing. Like this Batman's more introspective, and you see more of what affects him, I think, and you see more vulnerable side of Batman than you ever saw with Snyder. Like even from the beginning, when he thought he was gonna die. He was on the back of the jet, riding the jet into Gotham Harbor, and trying to steer it out. And he was talking to Alfred and like giving his last words to Alfred at the time. And you got to see that. Then you saw the letter exchange between him and Catwoman, and then you saw him kind of break down and tell her about the war jokes and riddles. And it's been more of an emotional what's going on in Bruce's head this whole ride. And this one-off. What's amazing to me about Tom King is he can write those big arcs and then he can write just a poignant one-issue story. And it was totally almost a different style than what he's been doing, but it's also one of those things that you know is going to stick. He may not be a villain, but this is going to stick with Bruce Wayne as another thing that tortures him about what he's done as being Batman.
Yeah. See, I've noticed that a lot with Rebirth, is that a lot of the stories have been like that. They've been a lot more personal. Like the characters are going through so much on a personal level.
Flash, especially, too, is another one.
Another one that's really doing it is Superwoman.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
if you read
Superman too. No, I don't read Superman.
So I read Superwoman, and the book just ended. This week we're getting the final issue of Superwoman, and I'm really sad about it because I liked it. Superwoman, it started off, so basically what happened was when the old Superman died from the New 52, his powers were transferred to like Lois Lane and Lana Lang, and they became Superwomen.
Yeah.
Well, the book is primarily on, which this last issue kind of, I didn't know who I was looking at. I got to go back. I didn't know, because Lois is in there, but there should only be one Lois on the planet, and that's the one from the alternate universe, because I don't know if I missed something in Superwoman, because the original Lois Lane, the New 52 Lois Lane, died. But I don't know if she came back or whatnot, because she mentioned something in the final issue that, when we were first talking.
I've never seen her mentioned in Superman at all.
So, but the book's mostly focused on Lana Lang, which I like that. I like it's Lana Lang. It's a character from.
Well, wasn't she losing her powers just recently? She was starting. She was losing them, and she
was losing them, and it comes to find out. So Steele's niece created.
Yeah, I knew Steele was involved because that crossed over with Superman at one point.
So Steele's dating Lana Lang in this. They're together. And he's got a niece who's also kind of taken on like a Steel persona as a superhero, but she created a suit of armor that can amplify the diminishing powers of Lana Lang.
Are they that where they use they're using the Fortress, right? They're trying to do something in the Fortress. Superman's letting them use it.
Yeah. So, but then Lana realizes the powers. It was basically mental for her, of why she was losing her powers, and she was able to regain the strength. Well, they just did an arc. There's where this sentient code called Midnight started attacking, gaining consciousness, and they find out that this creation, this Midnight data creature, was a failsafe from Lena Luthor. That what's supposed to happen is this Midnight creation is supposed to steal the powers of Lana Lang, which will allow Lena Luthor to escape her imprisonment. And they go through quite a bit of stuff with that, to where inside the mind of Lana Lang is both Midnight and Lana Lang, and Midnight can control her body, but Lana controls the mind. So, they're sharing a house. But Midnight realizes, even though she wants to be free, she doesn't want to let Lena Luthor escape anymore. She just wants to be sentient. She realizes she can't do that. She's like, the only way we could do that is, that I could be free and we don't let Lena Luthor go, is you have to destroy me. And Lana's like, but if I destroy you, I lose my powers. So that's what ends up happening, and Lana loses her powers, and it just says the end of that, and she's talking with John Henry, and they're going to start their life together. So that's spoiler alert there. But I really enjoyed this book because I like the fact that it wasn't Superman, it wasn't Supergirl, it wasn't Superboy. It was Lana Lang and Steel. That's what I liked about it, is that it was other characters. And it kind of mirrors Supergirl in a way, because there were issues of Supergirl where instead of losing powers, Kara's powers amplified to where she couldn't really control them, and she had to go to China and seek help from the new Superman, the Chinese Superman. Yeah. And I kind of liked. I've never read anything with that character, and I liked him in that issue.
He came into the Superman arc where Zod, Cyborg Superman, Zod. I'm trying to think who else. Metallo, and I think trying to think who else was there. A whole bunch of Superman's villains were going to. They went to the fortress and were attacking the fortress when Superman was. It was when he was blind, I think. So he tried to get into Belle Reve, and he went through this weird black force field that Amanda Waller has around Belle Reve, and it fucked with his physiology and it blinded Superman where he couldn't see. Mm-hmm. And he was the only way he was functioning was by hearing. He was like using his super hearing to get around.
His Daredevil abilities.
Yeah, he was Daredevil Superman for like a couple issues. But they came to attack, and the new Superman showed up. Like he put out the alert that they were under attack. So like all of the super family came together, and it was Supergirl, Lana Lang, Steel, the new Superman. Like they all showed up to defend the fortress when Zod and everybody showed up. So that's the only thing I've read with them in it.
I liked them in that issue of Supergirl I read with them, and then that's the thing with Lana Lang. What I really also enjoyed, I loved her design. I loved the way she was drawn. I loved the suit. I loved the costume because it wasn't Supergirl skirt and boots. I mean, this was more like an actual full body battle suit.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I liked the red and the white on it. I loved the way she was drawn. I loved the interactions with her and Steel. She even had flashbacks, to her time in Smallville with Clark and how she interacted with Clark and how, as much as she loves Clark, they showed Clark was kind of like he thought he knew everything. He knew better than everything. Like Lana tried to be rebellious and he kind of scolded her for it and she was like, "Who the hell are you to scold me?" Type of a thing, She called him out on his Boy Scout shit. And so I like that, and I like the fact that in this book it did.
That was
show...
the new Superman. Oh, the current. You talking current? Was that New 52 Superman or the current?
This is whatever she remembers from Smallville.
Old. Oh, okay. So this is okay.
So, but what I.
It has to be old New 52. It
should be, but that's the other thing I really like about this book was it's Lana Lang, who other than Lois, who knows Superman better than Lana? They grew up together. I mean, she's known Clark longer than Lois has.
Yeah.
So she's kind of that other, not in the sense of the word other woman, but she's like the only one that could, other than Lois, that could really look at Clark, Superman, and say, "Quit being a dick."
Oh, yeah. And so that kind of ties in with what happened in action this week. But I was going to talk about that same week with that story. I think is the Superman issue with the Super Sons arc that's going on through Teen Titans and Superman. Yes, Teen Titans and Superman, and I think there's maybe one other book it's going through, but it's pretty good. I think I talked about the first part of it on here last time, but the future Tim Drake Batman once again comes back to the past because now he has to kill Superboy because apparently Superboy does something that's going to harm a lot of people, so he comes back. And so Damian Wayne has taken Jonathan Kent, and they're on the run. And the future Tim Drake has come back and convinced the Teen Titans that they need to go capture Jonathan Kent because he's going to do some world disastrous thing, and they need to stop it. And so it all kind of converges with future Tim Drake gets a new suit. Now he's called Savior, I think, is his new identity, the future Tim Drake. He got rid of he put together a suit from the Teen Titans research laboratory or something and called himself something else. And so he's convinced two of the Titans to go, and then two of them decided that they were not going to hunt one of their own. But they all end up going to find Jonathan Kent because the two of them are going to stop him or what. It's a big mess of Teen Titans and everything. So anyways, they get to they finally track down Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent, and Tim Drake goes to attack, and Jonathan Kent really does have this because it's something to do with his human physiology can't contain Kryptonian power or something. Like he can't, his human physiology can't hardly, because he's actually more powerful than Kal-El because of the combination of the DNA. I guess because something to do with he's native of Earth and the yellow sun.
It's kind of like the same way with like in Dragon Ball. They said that Gohan is actually stronger than Goku because he's half Saiyan, half human.
Yeah, it's kind of the same principle as that.
It's the same principle.
So he has this thing where his human physiology is conflicting with the Kryptonian, and he's got this like he goes like supernova, like he's gonna fucking nuclear bomb out. And Tim Drake kind of triggers that in him, and they manage to calm him down and get him to not do that. And then Tim Drake gets sucked back into the time stream. But you also get for the first time in that issue, in that arc, Connor Kent comes back, and you find out he's from like they're called like the Titans of the Future or something like that, or the Future Titans or whatever. And in that, I would love to see. If any creators are listening, I would love to see that Future Titans team get its own title, and it could almost be like the way Legion of Superheroes or what set way in the future, or however they want to do it. But the new Teen Titans of the Future is made up of Connor Kent, who's apparently like gone full Kryptonian at this point, and he can fly. He's got all of Superman's abilities in the future, and then you've got Bart Allen as the Flash. And there's a new Wonder Woman. I can't remember the character name for the new Wonder Woman, but there's a new, and then you got Tim Drake as the Batman.
Oh, it's not. Is it Donna Troy?
No, it's not Donna. It's I can't remember what the girl's name.
Casey Sandmark.
I fucking can't remember, dude. I have to look it up.
Is it the blonde or the?
Yeah, that's the blonde chick.
It's Cassie. Yeah. So probably Cassie.
So you got. Yeah, well, yeah, it could be. The name escapes me right now because they call her by name in the story. If you read it, you'll know. But it escapes me. But I would like to see that group get its own title, because I would like to see, maybe go back and tell some stories before Tim Drake went nuts, because in that future timeline, Tim Drake was the Batman. He wore the Batman costume. Bart Allen wears like it's like a yellow, almost like a Kid Flash costume, but it's a little different. But they just call him the Flash, and then Connor Kent wears like a Superman suit, wears a Kryptonian, just regular the red cape, blue with the S, everything. So I would personally like to see a title, like maybe not even canon, just out of canon, a title on its own. But that's really good. The Super Sons arc is really good. I don't know what the Tim Drake maybe will have some significance later because he's been back twice in the span of like a month or two.
Right.
And for two different reasons. He came back to kill.
See, and that's all. You got Tim Drake from the future coming down, or showing up. You've got Connor Kent showing up, and then in Titans recently you had Troya, the future self of Donna Troy, showed up. So you're getting all these future versions of characters showing up in different books.
Oh, they had the Justice League's children come back too, and in Justice League, the children of the Justice League came back, and there was another kid that I can't remember what his parent. Well, we know Wonder Woman is his mother, but I'm not sure. I can't remember who they said the father was. Maybe it was a god. I don't remember. But Wonder Woman apparently in the future has a son that. In the storyline, she shunned him because he was a boy, and she more or less gave him to Clark and Lois to raise. And Clark and Lois in the future raised Diana's son as their own, because he also is super powered, super strength, indestructible, all that. And they raised him alongside Jonathan Kent, who was older than him and becoming another Superman in the future. So and I think something happens to Jonathan. He gets killed in the future or something. So the children of the Justice League come back from some alternate timeline where Aquaman is some crazed lunatic half cyborg thing. But it's kind of dealing with time. Like the timeline, we know from Doomsday Clock, the timeline's all fucked up. So there's all this stuff about time, future, past.
Yeah, and they mention that because in Titans, Wally, his heart was weak. He had a run-in with some villains, and it caused a problem with his heart, to where if he overexerted himself, he could die. Yeah. Well, he found out his powers in the Speed Force was also glitching almost, and it was causing time effects.
Oh, is that why he couldn't come out? Like when he was trying to appear, he couldn't.
Yeah. So
because he did that a lot. Because it implied that he had been trying since he died, he'd been trying to get out of the Speed Force and trying to contact people, and he's been
the hard
hitting
thing
the wrong
happened
spots.
later. The hard thing happened later, but yeah, something's been going on with his powers. Well, they find out. So Bumblebee, there was that whole thing I think you knew where the like Simon and the Fearsome Five were taking people like superhero memories.
Yeah, and they were like taking their powers and like giving other people powers and
yeah. So they find out where they're still hunting this down, and Omen goes to see Simon. This is back a couple issues, so this is spanning a couple issues. So she goes to see Simon, and Simon tells her, there's someone in the Titans is going to betray them. One of your teammates is going to betray the others. So Nightwing says, "Look, I've got this equipment from when I was with Spiral that can determine who's the traitor."
Right.
So he does this thing with every single one of them, and they're all sitting there and they go, has this thing done yet? Who the hell is the traitor? Well, it shows Dick standing in front of his computer, and it lists all the Titans. And then it says, the anomaly found, and it says Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson is the betrayer. And the Titans are already kind of leery of Dick because he made a secret deal with Deathstroke during the Lazarus contract story arc.
Well, and they were also, I thought, before leery of Tim Drake for the same reason. He pulled some crazy shit not long before that.
Dick ends up telling them that he's known for a while that he's had hive nanomites in his body that's been listening to everything. So he had to play along in order to, throw him off guard. So they finally find out where to go, get Bumblebee's memories back. But during that, Wally overexerts himself with time and basically rewinds time a little bit to save his friends because Troia shows up, which is Donna Troy from the future, and he dies. And his death actually has a connection with the other Wally West.
Oh, is this? Oh, I kind of remember. I kind of remember this. I read early, not before that, but I was reading this where he I think he did that before. He reversed it. He went to he kept going back to the same spot or something a few different times. And I remember that one. Yeah.
But so the new Wally West shows up, and through some means with the Speed Force, he found out that Wally wasn't actually. He was only mostly dead, which means he's not. He's mostly dead. He's mostly alive. So you take the acorn, you coat it in chocolate, makes it go down easier. But he brings Wally back, and Troia comes out, and she reveals everything about the future. That Roy Harper is going to be back to he's going to go back to drugs, and she's like basically you're because they found out that Donna Troy's not an Amazon. She's like a creation of the Amazons, and she's like all your friends are going to die except for you because you're not an Amazon, but you still have long life. You're going to outlive them all. So they defeat Troia, and this issue that's coming out this week it's called The Trial of Donna Troy, but what it is the Justice League are at Titan Towers. They're scolding the Titans. You fucked up, and all the Titans are sitting there going, look, we're not your sidekicks anymore. We're not kids. We're adults. We're heroes. But Batman is still treating them like they're children.
So Bruce pulls that funding.
And it's intercut. The book's intercut with that, and then Roy Harper on his own talking to Donna on the phone, but at the same time he's taking out drug lords. And she's worried about him because of what Troy said about the future, and he's like, the only way. Look, I know I was an addict, but the way I keep from taking again is by beating the shit out of drug dealers. So Dick gets real pissed at Batman. I mean, he gets fucking pissed off, and he talks to Bruce one-on-one, and he's like, "What the fuck? Do you ever wish you could go back and make him and right a wrong?" He's like, "You're not perfect, Bruce. Why don't we take a look at your folder and all the times you fucked up?" and tell me what's happened, and then you can talk to me about fucking up. And Bruce says, do you remember the thing I told you the first time we met the Justice League? And it shows a flashback, and it's Bruce saying, Bruce talking to Dick, and he's like, one day you'll be with the Justice League. And Dick goes, you mean I will be a member of the Justice League? And Bruce goes, no, I expect you to be the leader of the Justice League. So then Dick decides they're going to disband the Titans until the full investigation of the Justice League is done, which sends Roy Harper out, and he gets caught in massive gunfire. So, but Bruce mentions in this about Wally, he mentions that his power, that he goes, the Speed Force is the singular most mysterious and destructive force we know about, and the fact that his powers are manifesting time effects is something we cannot ignore.
Well, and we got Superman's been playing with time, and the Flash has played with time recently. And,
it's all. I swear, it's all going to be connected. All of it's going to be connected.
Well, I think Wally West, the new Wally West, New 52 Wally West, is going to have something significant to do with it, because he not only has saved Wally West, he saved Barry Allen and helped retrain him with the negative Speed Force. And Wally West, the new Wally West, has had a significant role with Barry Allen lately, and apparently with Wally West. So,
yeah,
I think Wally West is going to tie into it heavy somehow, because back in Crisis on Infinite Earths, when Barry Allen died, that's when the original Wally West took up the red uniform and was going to become the Flash after that. So I'm wondering if something with the new Wally West is going to happen during Doomsday Clock or something. Possibly, I don't know. But we never talked about Doomsday Clock, I don't think, either. Number 2.
We did.
Did we? We already talked that one?
Yeah, we talked Doomsday Clock.
Okay.
Yeah, was it
Metal 4 we didn't talk? I don't know if we talked about it. Did we talk about it? Are we caught up on all that?
Yeah, we're caught up on all that. We're caught up on all of that. We caught up all of that.
This week, though, we had some stuff this week that was new.
Yeah, I've already covered Superwoman and Titans.
Yeah. The Action Comics was the Booster Gold story I talked about last time. It was what they did. This is what I want to talk about. Superman, you were talking about Superman being a dick. Superman is kind of a dick in this one, too. Superman took it upon himself to use the cosmic treadmill to go to Krypton before it exploded, and the very act of doing that set a ripple through time that made Krypton not explode. And when he arrived there, he had found out that Jor-El and Zod were allies and were building a space fleet, and something had happened in Kryptonian history that had made space travel not outlawed anymore. And Zod and Jor-El were building a space fleet, I assume, to avoid the destruction of Krypton in the future. But Superman, by going back, the very act of it screwed it up. Booster Gold shows up to save Superman and get him out of there, so that the destruction of Krypton happens, but it's too late. They get caught. So now in this one, they escape from Krypton, and they end up in... the Eradicator comes after him, and they end up taking the time bubble, and they end up pulling the Eradicator to Gotham City in Booster Gold's time in the future. So he's in his timeline, and he stole his time machine from that time, and the time machine droid that goes with it, the time bubble thing that he flies around in. And so the authorities he's a wanted man in that time period. And Superman gets all bent out of shape when he finds out that Booster Gold stole the time machine. And he's basically tells the droid that's there, because Booster Gold gets captured by the police. The droid tells Superman, well, he's had a rough life, and he's by the dictates of time, he is supposed to have stolen that time machine, and he's supposed to fix time. That's his job. And Superman is still like leery about, well, he's still a criminal. He should be locked up. I'm thinking, fuck you, Clark. You break about 1,000 laws a day on the Earth. For one thing, you've got your own secret base, which nobody's going to step to you. Even Waller won't step to you, but they don't like it. And since when is it legal to rip a chunk out of the street and fight robots? And you can't do that shit either, yeah. Clark. You break 1,000 laws a day. Why are you going to turn in Booster Gold? He's trying to save your ass. So eventually, Superman comes around and they break Booster Gold out of jail. and they get him back in the time bubble, and they end up going back to Krypton to try to straighten out what Clark fucked up the first time. And they get there, and it's like welcome to Krypton. Your life will be you'll have a great life here, or whatever, as long as you kneel before Zod. And there's a giant statue of Zod on Krypton when they showed up. So the entire timeline, Superman has goofed the entire timeline up in action.
And yet they're in Titans telling that frickin' Wally West is fucking shit up.
Yeah, right. Super, not only that.
I'm sorry. I know I know you love him, but Superman is. I'm sorry. He's one of the most hypocritical superheroes.
Oh, I know.
On the planet.
He definitely. Well, I think one of the things about him that I like though is that a lot of times they show him being that way, and another character comes in and says, "No, look, Clark, you're being a hypocrite here. You do this," which is kind of like what happened with this droid, Booster Gold's droid. He's like, well, he's a criminal. He should pay the price. We're in his timeline. He should pay the price for being a thief. And I don't want to rescue a thief. And what am I going to do? Break him out of jail? And the droid's like, look, this man was beaten by his father like every day of his life. His father was abusive and put his mother in the hospital. His mother was sick, and the only reason he did any of this was to get medicine to save his mother. And not only that, but I've analyzed the dictates of time, and time itself says that Booster Gold was supposed to have taken this. And he kind of browbeats Clark back a little bit. It's like, no, you have to save Booster Gold and get him out of jail.
Besides Clark, you don't know his mother Martha. What? Martha?
No, his mother's name wasn't Martha, as far as I know. But Superman does go and meet Booster Gold's mother and talk him up like he's a big hero to her, so it makes him look good. So he comes around in the end. Like, Superman's a good guy, and I think I think they make him intentionally hypocritical because he's kind of dopey. I mean, he's a really powerful guy, but he's still learning. Yeah. That everything isn't black and white, right and wrong. Everything, there's nuance to everything, and he learns from these kind of experiences. So, yeah, he is kind of a dick. I mean, you can go back to when he dumped his own cousin off in an orphanage back in the old days. I mean, Superman's always been kind of like that. He's just been Mr. by the rules no matter what, while he breaks a million rules. And so, I mean, it's kind of part of the character in a way. But I still love Superman. How could you not?
Speaking of his cousin, Supergirl's been going through a rough time. Which is kind of weird because, Superman's doing his thing and Superwoman's a hero in Metropolis. But then Supergirl in her city where she's at, she can't... The DEO, they want her arrested. They want her taken down because I think I mentioned before in the show, because they saw footage that she had kept her father, the cyborg Superman, alive. And they think she's, evil.
Well, New 52 Supergirl is a way more defiant Supergirl than previous versions.
This is the same Supergirl, but now she's like... So, the DEO run by Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones has been taking superpowered metahumans and kind of brainwashing them into attacking the city to draw out Supergirl so they can catch her. And he does it again in this issue. Meanwhile, he has agents set up at the school that she goes to try to pinpoint, because they have leads.
Why wouldn't Clark intervene in that?
Exactly.
I'm Superman, leave my cousin alone.
Exactly. So they unleash a new supervillain during the winter formal or whatever, and Kara's there in her human disguise, and she realized, and the final thing is like, if I change into Supergirl, Kara's life is over. But the last few issues, it's all been about she wants to be this hero that everybody wants her to be, but she can't because the DEO's after her, and her human parents are like, you can have a good life as just Kara, and she's like, I don't want to just be Kara. First of all, I think the storyline's going on. She was
not conducive to being human. She never liked. She doesn't like. Well, from when I was reading the New 52, she didn't like. She refused to learn English. She refused to learn any Earth language. She only spoke Kryptonian, and and she thought humans were beneath her and weak, and she didn't like them.
Like I said before with Supergirl, I still get it because I like the character, but when they tried to make her more like the TV show Supergirl, which I'm sorry, that show just does not resonate with me. I think it was. I don't like the.
I like it in that CW shit.
The only CW one I'm looking forward to is Constantine. It's the only one I'm looking forward to, which I read. It's not the same Constantine from Justice League Dark. It's the same Constantine from the TV show, and they're continuing those stories only animated, but the animation is the same as Justice League Dark.
As long as they do what they were starting to do with this, because they just brought the Spectre in. That was at least the character that becomes the Spectre. They had brought him in like in the last couple episodes. We still never got the Swamp Thing. They showed the Dr. Fate helmet in the first episode. We never got to Dr. Fate.
Yeah, there was a lot of little things in there. That's the only one I like because Arrow started good, but then when it became more like, oh, well, we couldn't do Batman, so we changed Green Arrow to be Batman. You know?
Yeah, they threw Batman villains at him for like 3 seasons.
I mean, they threw Deadshot at him and Deathstroke, and then there was then the Suicide
Ra's al
Squad.
Ghul's in there.
Ra's al Ghul. It's like, it's literally that's what Arrow was. We couldn't do Batman, so we're making Arrow Batman. You know,
I put on Twitter though not too long ago, like, why can't we get, instead of getting Gifted, why not just a cool X-Men? Why not just the X-Men on TV, like a series? Why not just like, not like the old Adam West, but why not a serious Batman TV series and not like Gotham and some weird offshoot?
Even though Gotham is good.
I'm not saying Gotham's bad. I like that. I'm hoping with Gotham that they build up to calling the show Batman eventually and have the kid grow up.
That. He's now like out there on the rooftops in like a makeshift suit. It's not the Batman yet, but he's doing this stuff. I really like that show. It's just with the CW shows, and then it's the same way with Marvel where they try to make the characters look more like the movies, and it just falls flat.
It's like some kind of hip update to something that's already still cool. Yeah, it's still, just call it the X-Men.
I mean,
just
Green
call it the
Arrow.
fucking X-Men.
I got 2 Green Arrows. I've got Batman Green Arrow on the show Arrow, and then I have the wisecracking Arrow that we all know and love.
Yeah, there's nothing beats DC animated for me, and nothing is ever going to beat the animated movies. The DC animated universe is by far captures the feeling of reading the comic books far more than the movies or the TV shows do.
And see, that's why I know Gotham by Gaslight's coming out and everything like that, but I want to know what is the next one in the DC animated universe. Because the last one was the Judas Contract, if I'm not mistaken.
Those are good though. The DC, the Justice League versus Teen Titans and Judas Contract are excellent. If you haven't seen those.
And what I liked is that they connect. Like Judas Contract connects not only with Teen Titans versus Justice League, but it connects all the way back to Batman's Son of the Bat. When they first introduced Damian in the animated universe, it harkens all the way back to that. And I love Batman in this. I love it in him in the DCU animated universe, especially in Justice League Dark, because he was like, you know, he tells the Justice League, you all need to spend more time on the ground than your head in the clouds because they think it's magic. And then he ends up teaming up with all the magic people, and then you have Swamp Thing, you have Etrigan the Demon. I mean, that's what I loved about it. I love those characters. Yeah. And Matt Ryan is John Constantine. And anything Matt Ryan is John Constantine.
Yeah, just like physically like a doppelganger for the comic book character. But I think I love Damian Wayne in anything. By the way, I gotta say that I don't know why. I mean, I understand why Scott Snyder doesn't like to write him. I get that, but I think that character's great, and I love the animated versions of Damian in all those movies.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was in the comics when he first was it might have been one of those. I can't remember exactly where I saw it, but there's a part where Damian goes to the Watchtower for the first time. And Bruce takes Damian there, and when he meets Superman. I think it's in maybe it's in a Justice League book. I can't remember what book it's in, but he goes to when he meets Superman for the first time. Batman takes Damian to the Watchtower, and they go through the portal thing, whenever come out. And when he first meets Superman, he's like, I heard a lot about you. It's nice to meet you, like to Damian. And Damian just says, I thought you'd be taller.
Yeah.
And Bruce and Clark just kind of looks at Bruce and goes, "Chip off the old block, huh?" Like perfect.
That's what I do like Damian. I mean, I love all the Robins. Heck, I even like Stephanie Brown for her short time as Robin.
One of the other reasons that made me love Damian too is when he came back, when Bruce finally resurrected him, and he came back with like Kryptonian powers, and Bruce had ordered him. That was the part right before he took him to the Watchtower because he wanted to keep an eye on him. That's why he took him.
Right.
But he had ordered Damian back to the mansion or back to the cave. And he was going to go to the Watchtower. Well, he swings around to double check to make sure he did, and he finds Damian is flying over the city with the bat signal held over his head, like because he's super strong. He's holding and just shining a big spotlight on criminals, going "Stop!" Yeah. Like in order he could. And Batman's like, "No, put it down and come here right now."
And that's why I can't wait to see because I know he's not in the Batman title a lot. But we have to
hardly ever see him.
But we have to see Damian and more Damian Catwoman interactions.
Yeah, that was good you see him like you don't see him fighting. You'll see him like in his street clothes, like in that issue when he's just hanging out with Dick Grayson at the gate waiting for Batman to come back out.
And I like I said, I can't wait. Nightwing, they're doing the whole. They're Nightwing. Him and Sean are kind of back together, but not back together. That's his Catwoman. It's great, but a lot of books. We're back in 2018, Chief. It is just so fantastic to be back. I'm glad all of us feeling better. This is going to be one hell of a year. 2017 was good.
One quick thing.
Yeah.
Detective 972, the Clayface arc is starting. They're starting to wrap it up. Clayface, when he finally got to Cass, she stepped in front of him before the end of it.
Right.
She kind of stopped him, but the victim syndicate still. It's an interesting story. You should go check out. There's a lot of stuff between Clayface working out his crazy shit in his brain and Batman telling him no, you can be better. And it's a good story. Sorry to interrupt. We're trying to end the show, and I'm still doing reviews. But 972.
It's great. We got a lot coming up. 2017 was a great year for us. It's going to be an even greater 2018. April 6th through the 8th. If you're in the Chicagoland area, come hang out with us at C2E2. We're going to be there.
Yes.
Come on.
And we will be doing. Hopefully, we'll be doing press. If not, we'll still be there. So
we're still waiting on word from that. It should be a couple other weeks, and we should hear back from that. Once again, go follow us on the Stardust app. Get that app. You heard we got a reaction like during the show.
Yes.
Go hang out on Stardust with us. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff on there.
And you will start seeing this week as you will start seeing mine pop up in there too.
Yes. Follow us on Twitter at NRDRG Renegades, Chiefs at Space Chief 75, Facebook.com/NRR Truth Radio. Crystal, you tell us where we are in 2018 because we're still at the same places as we always are.
The Nerd Rage Renegades are on the air every Wednesday on Podbean, Stitcher, Player FM, iTunes, Google Play, and every Thursday on GamingRebellion.com, Filling the Void Podcast Network, and now iHeartRadio.
So with that, Chief, let's go out with a little of that. Let's go out with a little of that new track by the famous rapper Donnell Jackson.
Is that I'm Thick? Is that the new hit one?
That's the new. It's straight fire, Chief.
That's what I heard.
Gotta kill the craving, mama in the kitchen baking, and you spell it with 2 C's. Cause the doctor said that my fat ass.
Hey, see you next week, y'all.
Good night, everybody.
They just jealous cause their man's always trying to get it. Wait, pause. I didn't mean it like that. Hold up, pause. Yo, let me run it back, just like that. Pull up to the scene with the cookies and the cream. Go get your own. Go help yourself. What? Grab the whipped cream. It's on the top shelf. Yeah, top of the food chain. I'm getting chest pain. Thickness I maintain. You think I'm insane? Who the hell's knocking at the door? Chinese food delivery. Never go to the store. I suck the feeling out the middle of a Twinkie. I just had Chipotle. My ass is stinky. I'm dragging all of this wagon. Caution, it's a wide load. Getting hungry again. So it's time to reload. Shove a churro down my throat. No gag reflex.
Nerd Rage Renegades.